Cornucopias is a cutting-edge open-world MMO set in a world where humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface and created a breathtaking new world in the sky. This fantastical realm is a system of floating islands carved from the land we once called home, now encased in radically advanced dome-shaped structures suspended high above the clouds. Each one is a futuristic marvel with its own unique environment, identity, and thriving communities. It is within these domes the epic journey begins. Here, players take control of their own personal avatar, which gives them the freedom to choose their destiny. Be immersed in vast landscapes, explore vibrant settlements, and engage in a myriad of activities such as crafting, commerce, combat, racing, and more. Welcome to a world where the sky is no longer the limit.
Hey everyone, welcome to Copi Cafe. This is episode 112. You've got Rob Gregg here and Josh Jones here to tell you about what we've got going on in Cornucopias this week. And it's exciting. We've got exciting stuff coming up. So some of our topics for today, we got some details in the Juggernaut deck that Rob and I will talk through a little bit, which is the sale that's coming up, and a nodes update with Greg. So he's our special guest today, which is going to be fun. And then a leak, of course, and some questions. So, Rob, what are you drinking?
It's very cold in the UK today, so I've got a nice drink, a nice chewy drink. I have a cup of tea.
Chewy tea.
What have you got, Josh? Sounds like a can.
I have a bubbly lime sparkling water beverage. Quite tasty.
Interesting logo.
Yeah. So next up, we have a pretty awesome sale coming. As many of you are aware of, the Juggernaut is up for sale, and also the Sunset Speeder. But Rob and I are going to talk through the Sunset Speeder. Is a what class is that one?
A for Apple.
A for Apple. Okay. Sunset Speeder is class A vehicle, and then the Juggernaut is a different kind. It's not a racing vehicle. It's a cargo ship. So let's see here. Alrighty. So I guess we could basically, there's a little bit of lore. This is the deck for the cargo ship. And you can find that in our major announcements channel in our Discord. And I believe we also tweeted about it as well. But this just tells you a little bit of the lore around the Atmos, which is the cargo ship. And next up are some of the stats. So 82 meters long, 1,200,000 SCU, which is shipping cargo units.
Huge.
1,200 freight cargo units, 30.7 meters wide, 14.6 meters high, 16 cargo modules, and 2 Jet Lifter Series 800 Gen cores.
Very nice.
Rob, can you tell me about those engines?
Yeah, they're very powerful engines to carry a large ship. But I mean, I know a lot about the ship. It basically got 16 mini warehouses on it, like big cargo containers that you would kind of ship when you see, the boats coming from China and they're huge. 16 of those, so they can carry all kinds of equipment. Maybe they can also carry cages. Maybe you want to carry a cage. I don't know what you would have in a cage. Who knows? I have seen a cage though. You remember that in a Taste of and a glimpse of fear. There is a cage in there. So who knows what you could carry in them? Obviously, it's a specialized vehicle. I think it comes in 5 rarities, does it?
Yes, that is correct. 5 rarities.
I think it's quite slow, as you'd expect, because it is a Juggernaut.
Yep.
And it will go around our, do we call them domes? Do we call them zones? Do we call them spheres? I don't know. It's an atmos with a sphere. I love a party with a happy atmosphere. You know,
Not sure
meme
what you
away.
were going for there. But yeah,
Didn't know
so
where I was going there, did you?
it was, you could fly from dome to dome and you can
Yep.
park underneath it. I think that was a little confusing, but that's okay. I'm not sure what was happening. The details on this are coming up now. So price and supply, we've got 350 US dollars on base or Cardano in value. So obviously around 350 worth of ADA. So we'll take a snapshot at a point in time prior to the sale and use that. And then the supply is 760 total, 380 on base, 380 on Cardano. So yeah, I think that's most of the detail we have.
A little bit more. There
Yeah.
is a whitelist. So people have been asking for a long time. New people, what's the point of the daily corn? You know, to get your corn points. Well, now we have a whitelist. That doesn't guarantee you that you can mint, but it does mean that you will be in that first tier. So those that have collected 75,000 corn points, they will be able to get themselves in that early whitelist. I think the whitelist is for 30. So however many people spend that, there's roughly 100 people, I think, that are capable of joining that early whitelist. But talking about corn points, I don't know if you're you know about this or not, but we have the engage points, the new where people are engaging and they're liking and tweeting and gaining points there. We have the daily corn points. These are now actually merging together. So I don't know if we've announced that as this video goes out, but that is, so it may be a leak, it may not be. But those are now merging together. And the way they're merging together is the daily corn points will be converted to engage points. It won't be a one-to-one. There'll be a bit of a division. And then from then on, you will still be able to check in daily, I do believe, and get your engage points, but you'll also then be able to get your engage point by liking, tweeting, and everything. So all those are coming together into one compatible system or
Yeah.
process. That's positive. We don't want too many things going on.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is the final slide that we'll be showing, which is images of the Juggernaut. And you can get an idea for the size if you look real close by the landing gear up in the front. On that top picture, you'll see a person, one of the avatars in our game.
Oh yeah.
And that'll give you some perspective on the size of this beastly vehicle, the largest one that we have ever released. A little close up of the engine, close up of the landing gear. I'm pretty fired up about this one. I definitely want one. So, yep. And for anybody that isn't aware of this yet, this is coming up. It's gonna be available to purchase on our marketplace, cornucopias.io/marketplace. I believe will get you there. If not, there's definitely going to be links in the Discord and on our Twitter, etc. So easy to find. Don't ever go to a link from anything other than our known channels because we are entering the time of the season when scammers start going rampant. And so just always be cautious to use our channels, cornucopias.io. We've even seen scams before where people like replaced the I in Cornucopias with a one, and bought that URL and then completely replicated the site. So anyway, just a heads up there, but yeah, please come and join the sale, participate with us. It's going to be fun. That's on Friday. I don't think we have a time selected yet, but we have been discussing 16 UTC. I guess that will have already been announced though by the time of airing of this. So, okay. Well, that brings us up to our special guest for this episode. Have they met Greg before?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, Greg, welcome to Copi Cafe, man.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I have been on the show once before. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about Cornucopias, the community, and everything since then. It's been great.
That's true. It's been how long has it been since you were on?
I don't recall.
I want to say like March or April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, April. Yeah, probably that.
That was before you were also in person in Vegas as well. You met quite a few people.
I met a lot of folks there. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to give us a little status update on where we're at with the nodes? And I know Rob has some questions for you.
Well, I have a question for you first. I have a community question. This one is...
Well, hold on. Before you go to the community question,
okay,
we should start with the status update and what are you drinking, Greg?
Well, that is one of the questions.
Tea?
Coffee.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of the... I'm a pretty pragmatic when it comes to coffee. I like good coffee, but I don't want to order coffee. I don't want to wait for it to ship to me. So I want to get the best coffee at the grocery store. So I do the Pete's Dark Roast from that's my coffee choice.
Okay. So before Rob goes into questions, just a general status update on where we're at with the nodes, what's going on.
So we just opened it up to a kind of a limited number of test group from the community. I'm going to check real quick. We have, I believe, 32 nodes running on our network. Okay. And that's a lot for us because we're just kind of trying to ramp it up. Obviously, we hope that number is 10 times that in the next by this time next year. So,
these are all invited people at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Corn team mods, and some invited guests from the community. Yeah, and they're very bright bunch. I've enjoyed interacting with them and seeing the clever things that they're wanting to improve. So,
yeah, and we have. Some of them have been testing on all kinds of devices and multiple setups, and we're learning a lot. We're going through the documentation. So when we do eventually release that then to the wider community very, very soon, we would have hopefully got through the majority of setup and Q&A questions. But I must say most of them are installing it within 10 to 15 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Very good. All right, Rob, do you have a few more for him?
What I was hoping that we could go through today. Obviously, at the moment we're testing the nodes, and what we're doing is our internal team gets a build once or twice a day, and that is coming through our test server. So we've got a test version of the launcher, which I know you're involved with as well, Greg. So maybe you can talk about that as well. And they're actually using it internally. So those that are running these nodes, I mean, they're just going crazy with the logs. They get excited every time that we have a new internal build.
Yeah. We've integrated this into our internal teams. And so the launcher is part of that. The launcher hasn't made it out to production yet, but hopefully will be soon. So essentially, when they install from the launcher, we're using file nodes to get that release down. And so I've made a lot of optimizations to make it worthwhile for QA to participate and to get excited about it. So their average download time is definitely decreasing, and so I'm hoping that we can continue to do that.
Yeah, I know. I tweeted the other day because I think Renee downloaded his version. He's in Europe somewhere. I think he downloaded from one of our test nodes in London or possibly mine. I hadn't checked the logs, and he downloaded it 32 gigs in 5 minutes. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Not all of that was from outside his network. So that'll just give you a little peek into some optimizations that were added in. So
oh yes, okay. Well, we can explore that. Yeah. So some of that is he's running his own node then. So
Yeah.
he was potentially downloading from his own network as well.
Yes. I couldn't wait for him to try that out.
Right.
Because I know that his download times have been not all that great. So really improved. And so this is what we have. We have opportunity to optimize.
Yeah.
To get the best bits. They get the best bytes from the best places on the internet. And so we have those options now. And so
yeah.
Of course it's gonna take time to hone it and tune it, but we're on our way.
Yeah, it's exciting for us because what the nodes do, I think we looked into it earlier, is every time there is a download, that costs us roughly about $2.70 for every single person. And these nodes now, we just need to, the cost from AWS is to the top level of the nodes. I mean, do you want to explain how that's set up, and then so going from the structure from the top all the way down to the client, because I know you've got a cool structure for that.
Yeah. So whenever we started developing these nodes, we found that I should not be downloading from you, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pull bytes from across the Atlantic, right? So I'm in the U.S. obviously, and you're not. You're in the U.K. And so I was like, I want this to work because I want every node to be able to participate in every download, right? So I had that but it really doesn't make sense. So we were getting a lot of timeouts, a lot of errors and stuff like that. So we started to kind of organize people into regions. So this is an obvious solution to this, right? We want people to be closer. So we have, right now we have about 3 regions. And so one of my tasks in this test is seeing if I can balance these regions and get about the same number of nodes in each of the regions. We may have 2 regions, one for US, one for Europe. We may have 15 regions. I don't know. It depends on what we find the best performance that we're getting. So right now we have 3. Let me look at this real quick. I have the real-time stats up here. Right now we have 3 regions, one in Chicago, one in London, and one in Newark. And that, when I say that's like that's where the server is located.
Yeah.
And so we have 9 pools right now that call Chicago their closest one, and we have 13 in London and 13 and 11 in Newark. So it's pretty balanced. And I see that going up and down. And London was really high earlier, and now and the other ones were lower, and it's always changing. So so what's going to happen is these pool servers will start up. They'll figure out which one is closest, and then they'll pull all their chunks from that closest system pool or super pool that we're calling it. So, and then whenever the client wants to download something, it will also do that same check and figure out, okay, which one's the closest. And then it will choose all of the pools that have that same common super pool as their parent, I guess, or as their closest one. They'll download all from that cluster or that group of pools. So hopefully what that's going to yield is a lot fewer errors when we're downloading.
Yeah. So we have AWS at the top. We then have this layer, a a very limited number of super pools. So we'll have some in Europe, some in America, some in Asia, some in Africa, wherever these big hub spots can be. They can be anywhere over the world, and over time we may increase the number. But that is the only cost to us, is to get from AWS to those super pools. And then at that point, we will have individual pools, which when the node pools that the community are running, we kind of do a ping. They will check to see what their nearest super pool is, and that's where they will register and then pull down. And then over time, what we will do is we're also currently gathering data on the rewards, aren't we? How we're going to reward. So we need lots and lots of data on this. So some of the metrics we might look at is where they are serving, how many people are serving, the amounts of data, whether that particular area maybe has got too many nodes, whether it's saturated, and then people might spread them. So we're going through this phase of developing, but also learning some metrics. So those final rewards, the structure is definitely going to change over the months and potentially over the next year or so, as we learn and as we optimize those to get the best performance out of the network. But we will definitely keep everybody informed along the way as we go. But when you went through that then, and you were talking about Newark and these other places, it brings me into a question that I've got from one of the community, because they were, this was on Twitter or X, and this was from somebody called Tracer, and they wanted to know, will we have a node dashboard soon? And you were kind of hinting at not necessarily a public dashboard, but you were hinting at an internal dashboard. Is there a work in progress dashboard you could probably show behind the scenes kind of thing? Because that would be cool.
Let's see. So whatever I show you here will not be anything that anybody else sees. Nope. This is all my own little tools.
No.
So I can show you how I watch the pools. But part of my status, I think I jumped the gun on the status and was just so excited about this team that I forgot to mention that we're heavily working on the UI for this for the UI that we are developing for the node operators, for the pool operators and the node owners. They will know. Hopefully, they have zero questions about how their pools are performing, and so we don't know what that's going to look like. I know that I'm meeting up with Michael soon to kind of to review some of the data and figure out what the best way to present some of that. So that's one thing. But I will show you. Let's see if I can. I will show you what I look at. So this is a piece of software that I use just to create queries and visualizations of things like that. So are you able to see it?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So we have I have my system pools and that balance. This is where I got those numbers earlier of the number of pools that we have in each of these regions. That we have some system pools. I don't have any stats on this anymore because that changed. But if we look at our active pools here, these are all of the 31 active pools that we have running right now. And so whenever we're downloading, we're getting we're making an A. Okay, so we've got 91% of our requests are actually going through. So, and then if I go down here a little bit more, I can see how much we are downloading at a time. So at one point, the network was downloading almost 9 gigs a minute. So wow. So that was probably one or two or three people downloading at the same time. But all of these are just different downloads. And
that 38.7 gig is that the new? Is that a work in progress size of the latest?
That is the size of the cache.
Ah, okay.
Right now, so that's the size of the current game.
Right.
But that's not the I mean, I wouldn't make any bets based on that number. That's just
yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
That's the size of the current game. It's gone up about 4 or 5 gigs, which means it's more data and it's more than the 270 per person, most likely. So that cost, and why does this matter so much? Is something I just wanted to bring in real quick.
Sure.
You guys, our community, get to participate in helping us with the infrastructure and providing the game, and rewarded in tokens for doing so. And that helps us to save significantly on the Amazon cost side as well. So it's a powerful thing. And I know we're getting into some techie stuff here, but this is fun. It's definitely really cool to see how this has all come together. So I didn't want to interrupt you too much there, Greg. Feel free to go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to dig too far into this either. But here's what I look at. I want to look at the error rates really. And so if you can look at this graph, this is the number of successes versus errors. And so this is actually really, really good. So if we have this is good. Our network is working well whenever I see it like this. And this one is an interesting one. This is plotting the download of chunks and how long it takes to download from a pool server. And so you can see there's a lot of them that are under 1 second, but there's also a lot of clouded under between 10 to 30 seconds. And so, again, that's something that we're going to work at trying to get down lower so that we can get all these downloads of these chunks down really, really low. And so that's usually what I'm looking at whenever I'm looking at the health of the network. I'm having a blast doing this.
It looks really cool.
I feel like I'm in a war room or something like that all the time.
Yeah. So the community won't see that interface, but they'll see a variant of it that has also been stylized, should we say, or simplified, or like you say, they'll see something different, but it'll evolve over time. But it's good to see that we're getting tons and tons of stats already. So, I mean, yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. It's fun. So, Rob, did you have any other questions for Greg?
One final question. So if you are an existing node holder, how do you get involved with testing? Because testing at this stage is not compulsory whatsoever. But if you want to join in, is there room to squeeze a few more in?
Yeah, absolutely. There's room. I would say just contact one of the mods on Discord, and they'll put you in the right spot. At this point, I did want to say that what I'm looking for. This is for testing for us. We want to make sure our software is working, right? We want to make sure that we're understanding the data that we're collecting. We're collecting a lot of data, and that's kind of the priorities of here. A very close third would be I'm enjoying meeting the folks that are going to be running this network, and so me meeting them, knowing their names or knowing their screen names or whatever is really helpful and fun. But yeah, I think that's where we're after. And a benefit from all this is that we're training up a support team.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And so I'm already seeing fruits of that. So port forwarding is not an easy thing to do. So it's kind of hard to get your brain around it. But these guys are sharp. This group is sharp, and so they're helping each other, and it's been fabulous to see it.
No, it's a really good point. We're definitely training the trainers. There's a private group, so yeah. If you want to get involved, raise a ticket with our ticket system within Discord. Ask to be a tester. You have to have your node. You have to own a node to be part of that. Also share with them your specs, and I think what we're going to do, Greg, is we're going to allow you to announce this week's leak. I'll gently bring us into this because we're currently testing on a number of devices. We're testing on Windows machines and we're testing on Linux machines. We are also testing on the Mac. And there's also one other device that people weren't sure, and we weren't sure whether we could get this working or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've not only got the words, but maybe also the device that you could show.
Well, yeah, we have one team member, I think, came with this device and said, "This is what I'm using," and it's a little bitty device, about like this, It's a Raspberry Pi. I was able to build the pool software for this device, and I think you can buy these for way under 200 USD. And so this might be a good option for a lot of folks that just have one node and they want to run it on their network. This might be a really good option for them. I mean, it works, and I think we will support it. I think our support will increase as the utility of it increases. And but yeah, no, Raspberry Pi working for sure.
Yeah, I think that.
In
I think that was
fact, I will
Ken.
tell you this. What?
I think it was Ken, was it?
Ken, yes. And actually, I think he was the top performer for the last 4 days.
With the Raspberry Pi?
For all the pools that we're running. And these are all, there's nobody downloading much, so it's not like a real test.
Yeah.
But his has been performing very, very well. And so,
but we are testing with the Raspberry Pi. When you said one node, that's one node pool. So if you're looking at running one node pool, we're not sure how many nodes we can run on the Pi yet. So this is part of testing phase. We will let you know. You've got a node, you've got a Raspberry Pi yourself. I think I'm going to buy one. Some of the team members are, because I think if it works out, it's a really good option in the future just for plugging and playing. Yeah. But you still have to configure the opening of the ports, and we still have lots more to do. So we're not saying go out and rush out and buy a Raspberry Pi whatsoever. But if we can get them working, the idea is you'll just plug them into your router. And then, your home PC or your Mac, you can do whatever you want on that. This is just a completely independent system set up and forget about it. I think they'll be really cool.
Yeah, I think that thinking about having a separate system run our nodes, I think that's going to be beneficial for the network because it's always on.
Yeah.
But also just for the security of our users' home networks, right? And so we don't want or we don't want to bog down their gaming system or things like that. And if you want to do that, that's great. That's fine. But there's always a risk of us on a day that everybody's downloading, your system might feel a little sluggish. So offloading that to a smaller device might be wise. So one other thing on the Raspberry Pi, we're also testing other sub $300 PCs. And so there's a bunch of options out there to get. And so I saw a lot of talk today in that private testing channel that was regarding which ones they're going to buy. And they're looking forward to Black Friday and going and picking one up.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So another thing that we're hoping to do, obviously, is we will share with everyone what devices we're testing on, what routers and how to set up the port forwarding on the individual routers. There's tons and tons of different types of PCs and desktops and devices and routers. So so this is knowledge that we will gain over time, and it's absolutely perfect for the community to get involved and help us with that, because we have no idea how many routers there are out there, but can guarantee that the community power will help us in developing this. So it's so exciting.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I wanted to also mention another group in the testing that are doing something different. There are some in the group that are doing the VPS route.
Okay. Yes.
They have data center. They have a system in a data center. They have a VM or a discount for a VM, and they're actually putting them in the cloud. And that's a viable option. That's really going to be helpful too. Those are
definitely on solid infrastructure, the VMware, whether it's a dedicated server or shared. Yes. So it doesn't have to be a home PC or a dedicated box. It can be on a VPS in the cloud. Yeah, it's a hybrid system, and that's the beauty of it, that you've got it compiled and working on all different flavors.
I think it's great that they have the option, because some may not be interested in the additional cost to do it in that direction, or some might have a special deal somehow, or they get it already provided through work or whatever it may be. So it's great that we can do both.
And then for those that just want to be completely hands off, We have the delegate system where you'll be able to just take your nodes, look up a public pool, and just say, I want to delegate to that pool. And that's all you do. You don't need to worry about hardware, software, nothing. You just point your nodes to one of the
That's not
delegates.
in effect yet, though, correct?
No,
Not implemented, but it's on the roadmap.
we're working on the interface for that now. Greg's working on the software. I think you already have that working at the moment. We just need to put the front end on it. But yeah, so everything from homebrew systems to your own PCs to VPSs to cloud to completely hands off, just delegate your nodes. We're going to cater for you all because it is such an important and really amazing piece of technology that you've developed there, Greg.
Great. Well, Greg, thank you very much. Any final words?
No, I'm having a blast. I'll just leave it there. This is great. This is fun. It's fun to be with you guys. It's fun being with the community. It's fun to work on exciting technology like this.
Always good to see you, and you're doing an excellent job. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, that brings us to our final questions segment. We've already done the leak, as you know, and I have a few questions for you, Rob. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. This is from Wagme of the Mafia. Will sowing seeds, watering, growing, harvesting, cooking food take place in Solace? If so, is it scheduled to be in a public area as an addition to logging, mining, fishing areas, so new farming locations, or will some of this take place in owned land plots?
Okay. Yeah, so we have fishing, logging, and mining that people have seen, or they've seen the kind of the placeholders within Solace. Cooking and crafting, that will happen. Some will happen in public areas within the towns, but definitely a lot of that will be happening on people's land. But the actual question about sowing the seeds, water, growing, the whole farming section, that is definitely for people's land plots. So if you want to be a farmer, you do have to own your own land, or you'll be able to go and use the facilities on somebody else's land. And there may be costs with that. You might have to rent the land off them. There might be in-game currency. We'll explain all that as we start to release those. I can't wait for farming.
Okay. Next question from Japper of the Knights. On the current NFT phases, are they going to be ongoing until sold out, or can some of them end up with lower final supply?
So the idea of our marketplace is to rotate these items in and out. We did that on purpose because as we're onboarding, people expect to see stores, and they like to see things that are for sale because that shows that the project is alive. But we obviously don't want too many items for sale, so we will rotate them in and out. All our items do have a fixed supply, so once they're gone, they are gone. They won't come back. There might be equivalents of them in the future. I mean, definitely we're gonna have lots of outfits, for example, for sale. But yes, in terms of will there be a lower supply, only of special items. So, for example, there's the free Quantum Jack helmet. When we stop selling that, because we've got a total of 20,000 that we're looking to sell. When that period ends, that will not be for sale again. So next year there might be an updated version or a different type of Halloween, but not Quantum Jack. This is your only chance to get a free Quantum Jack helmet.
All right. Sounds good. I think you got the last question for me, correct?
Okay. Yes, this is from Duda95. Wants to know, I know the team has placed great emphasis on all assets being done from scratch, but given that Unreal Engine has thousands of great assets ready to go, I wonder if there's any consideration in using or buying some assets to help improve the workflow. Not everything has to be made from scratch.
Okay. Well, correction. Great question. Not all of our assets are made from scratch. All of our art-based assets are made from scratch. We have used code on the programming side from marketplaces before, for example, tied to the vehicles. But we're not. And the other thing that I would say is that our philosophy overall is that we want to go as fast as we can without sacrificing quality. So if there's a plugin or a programming side asset that we can use that will speed up certain features, we will look into it. And often what happens is we'll pull something in and then the code has to be modified somewhat. So it changes a little bit. So we can't use the next version potentially or whatever. But there's a lot of complexities with that because we have very unique needs, but we always try to use things that will help us to speed that up without a doubt. Yeah, but the main thing is with art-based assets, with the look and feel, that has to stay 100% custom because we want to have our own unique look and feel to our game, our own unique IP in that regard. And we've never seen a game succeed in the mainstream that use store-bought art assets. That's because people expect a new experience with whatever game they're playing. They want a new experience. It doesn't make sense to give them the same thing. So hopefully that gives you some context around our strategy there, and also the route we've chosen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time we use some of the assets for prototyping. You know, how could this work with the game? I think with racing, we probably had 3 or 4 different types of prototypes that we looked at, but those were not a lot of them. A lot of them are not up to say the quality that we need. They're not very good for replicating. So although we did start with some assets for racing, we actually did the physics and all that module ourselves, and that took a good 9 months to do that. But we have got a very skilled programming team. But yeah, if it's something simple, we will use it. But yeah, the upgrading, like you say, when you go from engine version to engine version, a lot of the time you've got your own proprietary code, and sometimes these off-the-shelves ones that they may look good, but they could have thousands and thousands of code within there, and it's just too complex. They break. You don't understand the thoughts behind them. Some of it is just crazy bolt-ons. So it is a mixture. It's a mixed bag. So sometimes
you
it's a
have
blessing,
to choose
sometimes
carefully,
it's a curse.
because let's just take that example exactly. If let's say we use just a ton of different plugins that people have developed that are on the Unreal Engine 5 store, and then we upgrade to 5.5, Unreal Engine 5.5 when that comes out. If 50% of those people have not refactored for 5.5, you could have 50% of those features just fall off and not work anymore, that you've got to either solve the problem or redevelop or tell the community why all of a sudden X, Y, and Z isn't working. So you don't want to be in a situation where an upgrade to the next version affects too much. You just don't know how much it's going to affect.
Yeah.
And if a plugin developer is not really active anymore, they developed it 5 years ago, then that's another problem as well, because they may not refactor.
A lot of our code base, that they integrate with each other. So they have a similar look and feel. They inherit code off one another. So it's not as simple as just getting, say, a farming system off the shelf and just plumbing it in, and it'll just work with our inventory or our fishing or our logging. So yeah, and the more and more code that we have in our foundation, the harder it is to put external code on top of. And you know, that's the same with most software houses, whether you're writing a game or whether you're writing anything. If you can download certain libraries, and you'll spend a long time getting up to speed just to find out it does maybe 50% of what you want, but then it's full of bloatware, and then actually long term it's incompatible. It's a really important topic, though. So it is good to bring up. We definitely do look what's out there. Sometimes you can just see YouTube videos and you can backward engineer it in your head and you think that'll be nice, and we'll build it. But we definitely look at them. We're open to them, and yeah, that's
Yep. All right. Well, I think that covers it, and we're probably that's at the end. There's nothing left, correct?
it's all
Great.
finished.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we were a little bit more tech heavy with this one, but we did have some fun stuff on the NFT and game asset sale of the Juggernaut and the Sunset Speeder. Actually, we didn't talk a ton about the Sunset Speeder, but you'll see the details for that in our links in Discord or on the marketplace page. Those will all be there. That's coming up today if it hadn't started already, and should be available in the marketplace. So thanks for watching. This has been Copi Cafe episode 112, and we'll see you on the next one.
Don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I'm in a game all day.